deserved. Next award category is the Citizens Award. And to present that is Scott Craig.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here this evening on behalf of the American Civil Liberties Union, which I've had the good pleasure of being the executive director of since Ronald Reagan was president. I want to have a shout out just for a minute to Mary Taylor and all the good work she does for you guys behind the scenes and making everything look seamless and effortless, and to Al Smith, who I've watched through his whole career as a lobbyist for you all, and you couldn't do better. Doing impact litigation is what we are all about, and we're here to honor plaintiffs tonight, but I would be remiss if I just didn't take a minute to acknowledge lawyers that make it happen. We have a small staff with 2 staff attorneys, and they are dependent on cooperating attorneys to work with them pro bono in defending the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the whole plethora of cases that we take on. And I know one attorney who's gotten not enough recognition for the incredible work she did on behalf of Race Kafka. Andre LaRose is here tonight. If you need an honor, she saved this guy's life. Working with Jim DeCar, she literally saved this young mentally ill man's life who was in solitary confinement at Montana State Prison as a juvenile. He's now a productive taxpayer, a father and a half. We're very glad to see he's doing well and is no longer the most dangerous man housed in Montana State Prison. I also want to acknowledge Greg Monroe. Greg has taken a couple of cases for us, dealing with how pregnant women are treated in jail in Lake County, and most recently working with Anna Conley, our staff attorney, in getting a settlement agreement with Missoula County over the detention facilities and how they treat women and children. Thank you very much. And the reason that I'm speaking today is on behalf of a team of people. The litigators in the case that is known as Donaldson started off with our staff attorney, Betsy Griffin. She handed the baton to John Ellingson, but they're working with Jim Getz and Ben Elkin. So, Jim, thank you very much for your work. And that team of attorneys is bolstered by 4 associates and partners from the Morris and Forrester firm in San Francisco and New York, and Elizabeth Gill from the ACLU's LBGT and AIDS Project. So I'm really here representing a team of people that have worked long and hard to try to advance in this state equal protection and full rights for gay and lesbian people in our society. And this case is a complicated case in some regard. It was brought to the lower court and dismissed for separation of powers conflict, with the judge did not want to tell the legislature what to do. We appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court largely agreed that gay and lesbian people are not treated fairly in our society, but they put it back on us and said, really what you need to do is show us that you should be instances. Justice Nelson was remarkable, both in oral arguments and then in his dissent, in saying, really? Do you think they've got to go through every law that treats them unequally and be able to prove that before we're going to grant them some sort of relief? And the court pretty much said, yeah, the majority. So if you haven't read that decision and Justice Nelson's dissent, please do. It's a wonderfully written treatise, and it really summarizes what needs to be done and what we think we're going to get accomplished. The good thing is that the court in the decision, they didn't throw the case out. They said, go back and itemize the laws that are being violated and how people are being treated unfairly and will be considered. And so that case has been refiled in July. And what we are pointing to particularly is how gay and lesbian couples are really similarly situated to married couples. We're not talking about wanting the marriage. We're trying to stay away from that whole discussion that's constitutionally prohibited by the constitutional amendment that was passed years ago. But instead, we're really trying to argue about equal treatment under the law and under the Montana Constitution. And gay and lesbian couples are systemically excluded from financial protections, in terms of being able to have survivor benefits, in terms of being able to have access to workers' compensation benefits, in terms of being with each other during the most critical moments of their lives around medical decision-making and end-of-life decision-making, and the denial of equal protection is, I think, clearly articulated in this new brief, which is now before the court. We're waiting to hear the state's response. And the only way we can do that is by having plaintiffs that are courageous, who are articulate, who are steadfast, who can stand being under the microscope and being out, not just to themselves and their close friends and allies, but to the whole world in their communities. This is not an easy task. We have taken on a number of cases over the years to advance equal treatment for gays and lesbians. We took on a case called Snetzinger, over employees being able to get access to the health care benefits that their partners in the university system had. And we thought that would require many other cases challenging how insurance companies dealt with people. And lo and behold, the insurance companies just like that, pretty much said, okay, we got it. We will provide protection for couples. So that was an incremental step. We took an incremental step in protecting the children of gay couples. If there's a dissolution of that relationship, the kids still have right to access to both parents. It was an important decision. It's another step towards equal treatment. And this Donaldson case, which is Jan Donaldson over here, is the named plaintiff. She's one of seven people, seven couples that stood up to be part of this case. And they've just been incredible to work with. Some of our other clients had actually been threatened. One of the couples in the Stacey case was burned to the ground after they filed in Montana. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to stand up in this state. And I would argue probably even more so for gay men than for lesbian women. It shouldn't be dangerous for anybody to stand up to say, this is who I am, this is who I love, and this is how I need to be treated as a taxpayer and as a citizen. And so I am just humbled that the Montana trial lawyers decided to pick our plaintiffs as the citizens of the year, and the plaintiffs of the year of the decade in my heart. And 6 of the 7 couples are with me tonight. And so while the rest of the country is talking about gay marriage, we are still focused on an incremental strategy that will bring about fairness and equality in Montana in due course. And with that, I'm going to call the names of our fabulous plaintiffs and ask them to come up in front here and we'll present plaques to you, okay? So, I'm taking it by the order that these plaques are stacked. Gary Stallings and Rick Wagner from Butte. Stacey Haugland and her partner, Mary Weston, is able to be here tonight. Stacey. Hurston. Margaret is a 19-year veteran of the Bozeman Police Department. And if you want to see disparate treatment, see what happens with a same-sex partner benefits versus what a married partner gets after putting your life on the line for 20 years. It's a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. So we'll see what Margaret and Kellie get this. Mike Long and Rich Parker. They're now from Bozeman. I first met them in Donaldson. Their son Kevin is over here as well. Kellie, Gibson, and Denise Boettcher. They're from Laurel, Kellie has been standing up for people's rights. I knew her when she was a juvenile corrections officer in Great Falls. M.J. Williams and Nancy Owens from Basin, Montana. Last but not least, Guggenheim and Donaldson from Helena. Everybody could tell you their stories, wonderful stories, and everybody wanted me to make sure that you heard their thanks. But their stories are on our webpage at aclumontana.org. There's some really good background to the case, the most recent filings with the court, and Justice Nelson's dissent in the decision from the court are all worth spending some time on. So thank you all. Appreciate it very much.